You get up in the morning and you don't get up for failure. You have a story to tell. Whether or not people want to listen to you is up to practice, diligence, and relentlessness. I don't know how you're going to do it, and that's not really up to you whether or not you know how to do it. The how shows up once you make the commitment for the I am going to do this. Podcast time, everybody. Mik Tek Studios. Podcast episode number 33. All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for checking out this episode. This is kind of a special thing here. I don't have, well, it's really not. I'm doing something that's kind of shooting from the hip. No fancy equipment. I'm actually recording this off of my phone. So the quality is going to be what it is, just that's what happens sometimes when you're in the moment and you don't want something to escape you. And that's kind of what this recording is going to be about. I was moved to actually record this because I was having a conversation with somebody not too long ago. Got off the phone with them, and and they're excited about trying to delve into the world of content creation. That this is not really their forte. And not only that, but they're not a very strong storyteller, or they don't believe that they are, right? And if there's one thing that I can do, I've always enjoyed story. I've always enjoyed the opportunity of telling somebody a great story. And above all, my lineage is also to entertain, but it's also to be able to learn something, to pass something on. Right. So I'm talking with this individual, and they're just they've been really beaten up with their work day. There's a lot of folks in their, I guess, the higher social class, and they're talking about basically the things, the stuff, the stuff that you can't essentially leave this world with, but we like to rub in everybody else's face about, look at how much stuff I have, right? And, they had a couple of phone calls, and it was just really a downtrodden experience. It was really upsetting. And from that, I issued them a challenge. I said, look, within 30 days, I want you to record 3 podcast episodes, right? They've never done this before. And I want you to record 3 podcast episodes, 15, 20 minutes apiece. And I want you to create one course. Now, their background is rather diverse, so it's pretty easy for them to kind of dig deep. And I just, we were going back and forth, and they're like, oh, you make this sound so easy. They kept saying, they make it sound so easy. And I laughed about it. And you know what? I got off the phone, and I was just thinking about it. I go, you know what? This is something that, this energy that I was sharing with them, really pumping them up after the end of this call, and just giving them the knowledge, the consultation even, to give them permission to start, right? So I've had a couple of episodes on the Mik Tek Studios podcast where, you see these people in different Facebook groups, LinkedIn posts, what do I do? How do I start a podcast? I'm not sure if I'm ready. Just start. What you're looking to do is you're looking to create value. And I know this is something that just feels very inauthentic, and it's just like a buzzword in marketing and business speak, right? But it's real. So people listen to you, or that you want them to, because you know something. You know something that they don't, or you have something that they don't. Their attention. The way that you can really just describe something, the dynamics of your voice, it's not monotone. but it's also the experiences that they can't have. Look, I've been on this planet for a finite amount of time. There's only so many things that I can do on a daily basis besides sleeping, right? And we go to different people in different fields. If I'm sick, I go to a doctor. I am not a doctor. If I need something done as far as for dry cleaning, or something is wrong with a child, I bring them to a pediatric, a special, specified doctor. Therapy, music, a musician, people who study music, dramatic performing arts. The list goes on and on. But the difficulty is when you're working on something, remember that you are the reason why your success or your failure hasn't begun. So one of the things that my friend was talking about, they said, you know what? This sounds just too intense. This sounds like something that I can't do, right? I'm afraid I'm going to fail. And I have news for anybody who's listening. Chances are you're going to fail. I've been listening to so many large companies. I listen to a lot of YouTube content myself. I listen to other content creators. And I just listen and hear about how many major companies have started over and over and over. Bankruptcy, start from scratch, move to another place, another bakery, and they tried another product. And then they try to circle back to that dream, that thing that keeps them up at night, right? And, there's going to be discouragements along the way. There's going to be people that you want to depend on. You think that they're part of your dream. And then you realize that they are literally the antithesis of why you are not completing your dream. There is going to be things that happen in life that are going to stop you or pause you or make you think, did I make the right decision? Maybe you're an entrepreneur. Maybe you're starting work for yourself. Maybe you're trying to find your way as a small business, and you are just like, did I make this right decision? I mean, this is nuts. I don't know if I can do this. I don't get to see my family. It just seems like, am I enough? You ask yourself that question, and people are going to get in your head. They're going to get in your ear, and they're going to make you think differently about your dream. You are going to, you get up in the morning and you don't get up for failure. You're getting up for success. You're getting up, I am going to conquer the day. And then something happens. You get a bad phone call, bad news, your car. I had a battery die in my vehicle. Mechanic's taking a look at something, $235 to replace the battery. I was not prepared for that to start my day. But I need my vehicle to operate. That is really my, it's a very valuable tool, much like other things that people are dealing with. But at the end of the day, you have a story to tell. Whether or not people want to listen to you is up to practice, diligence, and relentlessness. That is really a key term now. When I was in high school, I remember I had graduated high school and I went back and I had a couple of siblings that were there and I wanted to see some other friends, underclassmen and teachers. And there were a couple of just newer teachers and faculty members. They thought I worked there. They thought that I was a teacher. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't, you seem so determined. Just wherever I am, I was always so focused on what it was that I was looking to do. And for those that do know me, I do take things quite seriously. I want to make sure that I do them right. I do them well. And that's back to the fact of creating that value. Remember originally, creating value, being able to give somebody something where they feel like they're getting a steal, right? You have these stories. So this is a little bit of a motivational bit. This is a little bit of a permission, allowing yourself, you can do this. I don't know how you're going to do it, and that's not really up to you whether or not you know how to do it. The how shows up once you make the commitment for the I am going to do this. It could be, I'm going to buy a car. I'm going to create a business. I'm going to create a product or service. I'm going to get married. I'm going to create, I mean, we have rockets going to the moon or planning on going to Mars. Not directly from NASA for those who are from the U.S. listening. China's landing rockets on the moon and surveying. Just keep in mind, this is something I remember Steve Jobs in one of his interviews. Look, he's not the greatest guy, to reference. There's a lot of, fallacies, but we know who Steve Jobs is, but we've never heard of you. So keep that in mind. It is kind of a thing. I can't do business with somebody I don't know about. But anyway, I digress. He said, everything that you see around in this life, somebody has made. They didn't exist before that person made it. And just because it's there does not mean it's finished or it's perfect, right? So I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but that was sort of the overall substance of what it was he was trying to get across. Just because you see that this is how things are done does not mean that you cannot come in and change the way that it works. And today could be the start of that. Or tomorrow, or the next day. But if you put it off and you go, oh, I'm not sure, challenge yourself. Challenge yourself to lead a bigger life than what it is that you're doing right now. If you're comfortably doing your 9 to 5, or you're paying the bills, and then you're not sure what else to do with your life, that's your calling. That's your sign. And with that being said, we're going to dig a little bit now into podcasting, because this is like the new blogging, the new wave of blogging, vlogging, things like that. Just because you can talk doesn't mean you are an effective and implementive storyteller. Okay. So a podcast, when we listen to a podcast, we listen to people, they're talking on the radio. Much of it is for entertainment purposes and value. Yes. But beyond that, what is it that we're listening to? Why are we listening to this? And what is it that we hope to achieve once we do listen? What is our takeaway? What is the reason? For example, this could be a 20-minute session that you're listening to here. Why would you invest that amount of time? What are you getting out of it? And what I will say is this. Look, there have been times in my life where I did not know what the next steps are going to be. I just made that commitment. I used to load trucks. I've told this story quite a few times over the years. I used to load trucks overnight. It was a ridiculous work ethic to get done. At that time, I was working up to 5 jobs. I get up at 1 o'clock in the morning. I was out by 2. I did not have a vehicle at the time. I would bike for an hour. Where I lived was in a very, very kind of ghetto-ish, lower income area. It was all uphill. I literally biked in the dark uphill for an hour to go load trucks for 4.5 hours in the morning. And then I went to one of 4 other jobs. I was a kettle ringer for the Salvation Army. I folded clothes at a retail store. I did fast food when I needed to do. And you know what? Those people that came in that saw me doing these jobs, they knew that I could do better than what it was I was paying the bills with. And they said, "You're smart. What are you doing here?" I was saving money. I was working up the opportunity for the next moves. It was not easy to do, but I did it. And when I was loading trucks, I hated it. Oh, we could do an episode just on that. I hated it. I have never felt more like a convicted felon than working loading trucks for deliveries. They strip you down. There's no cell phone. Something could happen. Somebody would have to call into the office and maybe get, a notification. There's no breaks. You leave, you're going to get your boxes thrown at your truck. We could go on and on with that, but it's an extremely miserable experience. Okay. And so while I was there was 2 things that I was doing. One was I was able to bring a Bible in with me. And that was one of the things that kept my focus and really kept my being intact. When you are like absolutely at your lowest point, and when I'm talking lowest, I was dating a beautiful girl at the time. She broke up with me because she wanted to focus more on what her friends thought of a serious relationship and what they thought of her rather than what she thought about the situation herself. I was sleeping out of my car at the time because it was the first time dealing with a slumlord. And, beyond that, I was staying in another place where a lady had rented a room out to me. And then she forgot that she had rented a room out to me. She had a young daughter that would not go to sleep. And this little girl would be up until like 11:30, 12 o'clock, crying and kicking and screaming, and mom going on. And when mom wanted to get a little adult activity going on, the option was, hey, you know what? I can pay for you to go stay at a hotel room for the weekend. Yeah, it was that serious. And I decided, you know what? I'd rather sleep out of my car. I'd rather sleep out of my car because there is no dignity where you are at that point where that person is like, yeah, hey, I forgot that another adult is renting a room for me. This is not a family member doing me a favor. This is somebody who needed some extra income. Was pretty understandable, but it just was very uncomfortable. And at certain points, I ended up nodding off and crashing out in the office where I was working at the time at one of the jobs because I just needed to go to sleep, right? But I digress with all that. So we're loading a truck. And I am reading the Bible, and I'm really thinking about the next step. So I was looking for a new opportunity, and where I was working at the time was upstate New York, and it just wasn't enough. The options weren't there. I had the option to be in New York City, and I said, opportunity is there. I feel like it's there. I had a good friend of mine and a good friend of the podcast, Ken Butler. He had been doing his thing, really making stuff happen in New York City. I was, like I said, I was seeing a girl prior to her breaking up with me. If there was a better opportunity for me to make things happen, to have a better future for myself, I'm going to take that chance. And I don't know how I'm going to do it. The money was not, I was loading trucks. It's not like I had that option. I didn't have things set up for me to be in New York City. But I just made that purpose and I said, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. And the company fought the transition. They were delaying it. They didn't want to lose me because it's very hard to find somebody who is committed to coming in on time and doing a really good job on a graveyard shift, 3:30 to 7:30, so, the bell manager hemmed and hawed and make stuff up and all this other stuff. I went down to New York City, like, no, yeah, you just show up. All you got to do is make a phone call and, do whatever. It was Easter weekend. I remember that. And, for those of you who do believe in faith and religion, there's a value to that, to this next part. Beyond that, if you don't, there's always a level of spirituality where you need to be honest with yourself. So, I have a Christian-based faith, and I sat down, and I just remember looking out at the bay doors, and I was just like, you know what, God, this is what's out here. This is what's set out for me. I need to make this change. This is not working for me, sleeping in my car, the couple of dead-end jobs that I'm working, doing what I'm doing here. This is a dead end for me. I have bigger and better opportunities waiting for me in New York City. I believe that. I really, truly do. I have no way of getting down there. I'm supposed to start work next week. It's like Thursday or Friday. I'm supposed to start work Monday. I have no money. I have no means. I don't have a place to stay. This needs to happen. So if this is to happen, let it be so. Like, give me a sign, something. But I am going to do this. I just don't know how. I left that morning. I went down to go get gas at one of the local gas stations. And I don't recommend people doing this because, again, I had a parent who had a gambling issue, and it made a rough childhood for me and my siblings where, food and resources weren't provided because they thought they were going to hit that next number, that scratch off. And it's disastrous how addiction and drugs and just gluttony like that can really destroy somebody, destroy a family even. And but I did it every now and again. So I went to go get gas, and I said, you know what? Something's telling me just, pick up one of these scratch offs. And when I went to go and look at the options, the thing is, you generally want to play, or you want to grab one of the scratch offs that are, closer to the beginning of a roll. They like to, usually there's an incentive. You get a little bit of a winner, and then let me spend some more money, and then there's not another winner until deep in the roll. So I look at the options. The girl says, "Which one do you want?" And I said, I picked the what's called loose change. You basically, different states have a similar thing. You got to make it over $1. As long as you make it over $1, you win the prize shown. And if you could do math straight, but so she looks at it and she goes, "You mean this one?" And I said, "No, but." Kind of the unwritten rule of those types of things is when somebody calls it out, you kind of have to buy that one too, because that could be the unofficial winner. I don't recommend you do this all the time, but when you have disposable income or when you've assessed the risk and you don't have anything else to lose like this, you go for broke. So I said, you know what? I'm going to get the loose change. I'm going to get the other one that they picked as well. Or I think I went for the other one and they picked loose change. However it was, I got both. Cost me $2. Not a big deal. So I don't know. I think I got like a roll at the time, like a plain roll. I didn't even have enough money to really eat a real breakfast. It was the cheapest thing that they had there, and I needed some sort of substance. I was starving. So I sat down, and the loose change, again, you have to get over $1 in order to win, right? Over $1. Okay. So I go and I scratch the prize first. Generally, that's what I do. It's, it's supposed to be bad luck, whatever it is, doesn't matter. Scratch it off, $500. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, sure. Yeah, right. All right. So I scratched the first section off. It's like 50 cents. I was like, oh, okay. We're really going to put that out there. They're really going to mess with you real early in the scratch off game, right? Okay, that's fine. I'll take that. I'll take it. No worries. Hey, it's Monday, whatever. Next one, 5 cents or whatever it was. Yeah, all right. Next one, 10 cents. Oh, okay. Next one, 25 cents. Wow. Okay. We're getting pretty close. We got 8 spots to scratch off, and we're already pretty close to, to that dollar mark, 85.90 cents. Interesting. Okay. Scratch off the next one, and it's like 10 cents or 25 cents or whatever it was. And I'm going, wait a minute. Now, again, I might be messing up some of the amounts when I explain this story, but when I looked at it, it was over $1. And I don't know about you, but you could be as tired as you could be after a long day and night worth of work, and trying to count that stuff up made me feel like an idiot. But I'm like, let me pull out my phone. Let me punch this in a calculator. Can I ask somebody else if this is right? Let me make sure I'm adding this. It's actually in my hand. I'm not dreaming this. It was over $1. It was over $1. The prize on that scratch off was $500. $500. It took me about 2 or 3 minutes to really look at this thing and really let it seep in that I just scratched off a $500 winner. I walked up to the register to go cash it in, and the girl says, "Oh, did anything work out for you? Did you win something?" I said, I guess you could say that. And I handed it, she goes, "Oh, wow, that's what's up. Okay, cool." And she went, she cashed it in, and anything that's below a certain amount, they don't have to do this, big write-up and things like that. Bigger amounts you do. I gave her $20. I said, thank you, because, again, she was the one that picked it. She was the one that, grabbed, I got to get that. But beyond that, that was the money that I used to move down to New York City. I didn't have a place to stay officially, per se. I used some of that money to get a gym membership just so I could shower and be clean. And I saved up between the money that I had there that would let me last till the end of the week, gas money and stuff like that. And the first 2 weeks of this paycheck, which I actually took a hit working, because an overnight shift, you get that differential, you get that extra bonus. Somebody wants to work overnight. This was an evening shift, so I was actually taking a hit to move down. Now, you could say it's a coincidence. You could say, you manifested it. There's a lot of things. At the end of the day, I decided today was going to be that day that I made that move. Regardless of whether I had the resource or not, I didn't. I did not have the resource. But I knew that I was going to figure it out because I had purposed it in my heart. The same way that people purpose anything, good, bad, I need to eat, I need to go to sleep by a certain amount of time, whatever it is, I'm going to make this happen. I put that out there in the universe. I put it out there in my being, and it manifested itself. So I pass this story on to you. Whoever is listening to this, whoever is working a 9-to-5 job, working overtime, coming back exhausted on the subway, mopping floors, caring for children in a nursery or a daycare, you're exhausted, you're just starting out, you're an entrepreneur. I'm pounding the pavement. How can I make that difference to start creating that brand, to start creating that opportunity for myself to live the life that I want to live, that I deserve to live, right? Just because you deserve it doesn't mean you're going to get it. You got to work hard for it. But don't wait. Don't wait. Get up, get the ball going, get moving, and just make it happen. You know, you people hear this all the time that go to church, you know, Christian churches. Make today the day for change. Make today a commitment day for yourself. Because again, at the end of the day, you're going to push yourself past your comfort point, beyond your comfort zone. And what's going to happen is when you do that, two things are going to happen. You're going to have a crazy amount of ideas as to how to provide for a solution. Anybody that also knows me knows that I do two things. First of all, I tell incredibly detailed, dynamic stories. But what I also do is I always attempt to provide multiple levels of solution as efficiently as possible. If I don't have one right away, I have a short-term remedy that is a stopgap while we work on something that's going to be short-term, and then we have a little more ideal long-term, and we're working towards that. I don't like leaving people hanging when I'm working with them or even as a friend. That's an honor code that I hold to myself. So all I'm saying is, with, you know, that this energy that came from that conversation, if there's something that you're trying to do and you need a sign, you need to hear permission from just somebody else to say, today's your day. Today's the time to start looking into testing that menu for your little, food truck that you want to do, or that you want to try a clothing line, or greeting cards, or podcasting. You have a story, you have a voice. Provide value. Provide that opportunity, because not only are you doing it for yourself, to prove to yourself, I can do this. You have all the resource, everything that you need to do, that you need to figure out. You got it already. Don't wait for permission. Allow yourself permission to make it happen. Allow yourself permission to fail. Don't be afraid of failure. You're going to fail. You're going to mess up. Trust me. Trust me. You're not going to have all the answers. Anybody who's been in business long enough has just failed enough times to not keep doing those things. And if you keep hoping on something, hoping on people that you hope are going to change, or hope that they're not going to let you down, or hope that are going to come through, chances are you're going to be going back to the drawing board real soon. Do not just live your life putting all your eggs in one basket just for hope. Do not build a company, a product, a service, a profit center, a side hustle on a hope. Purpose it in your heart that I am going to do this. Be realistic with your goals, but think whatever it is, go bigger. Go bigger. I'd laugh right now if you told me that I would be speaking to people, consulting people, that they just releasing this harness that they have, and just the bridle is off, man. It's just, they're out, raw surge of power, and they're out making things happen. I would call you a liar. I would call you a liar. And there's been so many times in my life where people have crossed paths, and I thought, just like you listening now, there's a job that you're going to work, a job opportunity. No, it's not. There's somebody in your life, a friend, a family member, a husband, a wife, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, maybe a dog even that you thought was going to be there longer than the several years and then they pass. And there's an emptiness that you just can't replace. Or you're in a toxic relationship, work relationship, a friend, romantic. You have a partner that's just gaslighting you. You can't do this. You don't have a plan. You don't know what you're doing. You're not going to amount to anything. You're just going to end there working at this job for the rest of your life. You're not that smart. Get rid of that person. Get away from that person. Do not listen to that person, because that person, although they may be trying to do what they think is best for you, at the end of the day, we are all designed for greatness. We are all designed for purpose. If you have something that you are just you got to do, I have set out in my life, this is what I need to do. And I believe in it enough that I'm going to sacrifice everything that I have towards this, because that is how serious that I believe in this. That is the only time that you are going to make it happen. You're going to have that actual opportunity to make that happen. Because I'll tell you right now, you have that option of failure. It's always going to be there. Every business, every entrepreneur, every option that you see there, guess what? They have failed. They're on their way to failure. It is inevitable. It is how you fail, when you fail, and what it is that you leave as your legacy that people know you by when you do that. Do you get back up? Or do you just stay there defeated and going, this ain't for me? And look, sometimes you need some time to recoup. I get it. Trust me. Anybody that would, I understand. You just need a breather. Like, look, sometimes you got to clear your head. And boy, oh boy, in the last year or two, have I had to clear my head. I've had a wrist messed up. For the first 5 months of this year, I have a dozen podcast guests that are waiting for content, that are waiting for their stories to be heard. And the nerve damage that I have as I'm healing up this wrist, it's hard. It's hard to look at. It's hard to watch the nerves firing randomly like you're a Parkinson's patient, downing naproxen on a daily basis to try to get through the day, to work through it, to see if you'll be able to use that wrist, that hand 100% again. This is my right hand. This is my well-being. It's way easier just to, set this up on the phone like I have right now and have folks listen to this. But at the end of the day, that's not going to be a definitive long-term opportunity for me. Just like you, whatever it is that you need to do to start out, that's not going to be it. But you have utilized the resources that you have, metaphorically, physically, and create those opportunities that you do not see there. You're going to do it. If you believe in it enough, you are going to find a way to make it happen. But do not listen to those people that are going to try to bring you down if you've committed yourself. I take commitment very seriously. People, jobs, projects, timelines, due dates, whatever. The only thing you can do is doing the same out of the respect for those dreams, those goals, those opportunities that lay within you. Nobody else is going to know the threshold except you. So look, take a deep breath, step back for a second, and say, I can do this. I'm serious. Think about it. Take a step back, look at it, and I don't care if somebody's listening to you. You got headphones on at this, you're at work. Just say, I can do this. I can do this. I listen to Les Brown all the time. I love that guy. I love his energy. And there's a takeaway that he has all the time. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. When you walk in and somebody asks you how you're doing, you know what? I'm having a really good day. I'm having a really good day. Thank you for asking. I appreciate it. Whoa, they weren't expecting that. You're creating that energy, right? There's not going to be the opportunity doing that all the time. Sometimes it's real hard. Like you just had a really hard day. Like, look, I'll answer that question tomorrow. It's just, it ain't happening. I get it. But I want you, whatever it is, even if it's something small, you know what? I'm going to do 10 push-ups. I'm going to walk for an hour today. I'm going to eat healthy today. I'm going to get a proper amount of sleep, but you know what? Before I go to sleep, I'm going to do these 5 things. I'm going to, if you do prayer, that's fine. If you do fasting or meditation, that's fine. But you know what? You can do the same thing for yourself. I have whatever is necessary in my being to do what I need to do. And whatever higher power that I focus my spirituality on, whether it's the Christian God, Islamic faith, even if you're non-denominational or you don't believe in a God specifically and just a higher power altogether, you know what? If you can give that level of respect of not believing, if you can give that level of respect in prayer before you go to sleep, when you wake up, you can make that dedication of faith to yourself. Today is the day that you are going to make things happen. And I want you to believe that wholeheartedly. I want you to take a piece of paper or a chalkboard or take out your phone and open up your little note section. And I want you, as you're typing this, as you're writing this, today is the day that I am going to make this happen. I want you to do that. I want you to write beneath it, I am going to make that change. I want you to highlight that. I want you to circle it. I'm the one that's going to make that change. Make that dedication to yourself because you do not know who it is. And I know there's a lot of people right now that really need to listen to this. They really need to hear this. That's why I stop what I'm doing. It's past midnight when I'm recording this. It is beyond midnight. I have to be up early tomorrow. And I am doing this because I had a 45-minute conversation with somebody who knew in their heart that they could do it, knew in their heart that this is what they chose to do. They have changed their entire life around between 2020 and 2021 because they decided that their well-being, their mental health, and what it is that they've set out to do needs to be in line with their happiness, needs to be in line with the betterment of their being. I am going to change. I am going to be responsible for the outcome in my life. Anything is possible. So you deserve great things, but just because you deserve great things doesn't mean that just great things are going to happen. It's going to take hard work. It's going to take dedication. Can I do this? Can I do this? And the answer is yes. Yes, I can. Yes, I will. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to this. Please share this episode, share this message with anybody that you think is going through a hard time right now and really needs to hear this, really, really needs to dig down deep and go, listen, I was thinking of you. I thought of this message, a family member maybe going through something, a teacher, a coworker, whoever it may be. You know what? I was thinking of you and I heard this message and it just, you know what? I really think that this would do you some good. I really think this would put you on the path to motivate you towards something that I already know you could do. Comment below, tag anybody you want, depending on what platform this is being, played on or seen or listened on. I appreciate it. And again, you can do this. Just dedicate the time that you need to in order to follow through with your dreams, with your priorities and your goals. You are important. If you're one of those people that focus on other people, which I have that problem of doing sometimes myself. If you focus on other people, today is going to be your day. Take today to focus on you. It is not selfish to focus on what you need to do first and then make it happen from there. You got to be good first before you can be awesome for other people around you. I appreciate your time listening. Go out there, do great things. Know that it's not going to happen overnight, but it will happen. I promise you that.